Hi. Hello. Hello. Okay, sorry, I know it's in audio hell right now. I'm sorry. I don't know what's fucking happening, dude. Okay. I guess I'm ready for this. God, I fucking hate starting streams after not streaming for an extended period of time. You know what, let's just, like, practice for a little bit. I practiced a little bit before going live, just like a tiny amount, just like a microscopic amount to see, like, how much I would need to de-rust here. And first off, am I the only one seeing my Hobbit timer phase in and out of existence? Or is that just me? Just me? Anyone else phasing in and out of existence, or just me? Okay, whatever. I don't know why that's happening, but it's kind of distracting. And I can't tell if it's happening on stream either. I would rather it not. That would be nice. It wasn't doing it while I was practicing at all, so makes me think it has something to do with streaming with OBS. I don't know why it would do that, but yeah, both my timers are rapidly flashing. I guess I'm just gonna live with that. That's my new normal for a while. Who knows what's causing that, but it's probably not good. Anyways, I'm sure it just has something to do with the timers being always on top. And some sort of conflict with maybe having DX Wind open. I mean, I haven't done any of this since getting Windows 10. So maybe it's Windows 10, or also maybe it's because I did update my my live split. I normally never do that. I try my hardest to avoid updating software ever, but I did update it. I don't know. I updated OBS too. What the fuck? I didn't stand still at all. Okay. Well, that went pretty well outside of that. Let me see if I can fix my fucking timers. Just moving the other one around a little bit seemed to help it. So maybe they just need a little push in the right direction. Okay. I'm you know, as scatterbrained as ever. No, it's still doing it. At least it's just the arbitrary timer now, but it's really weird. It's doing it in like a very regular pattern. Like it keeps flickering to like a timer or something. I don't know what's up with this. Maybe I could just go to settings and disable. Hello, thank you for follow, gamer. Maybe I could just disable always on top and that would fix whatever the fuck is happening here. Because I'd rather not do a real run with, like, 2 different windows rapidly flickering on the other monitor. That'd be nice. I have no idea where always on top even is. Is that not in the settings menu? Hey, Kyra. It is the race gamer. I'm typically referred to as the race gamer. People constantly are calling me this. Just nonstop. You think it's in layout? You think it's in edit layout? Nobody knows. You know, this software's been around for years. Nobody knows how Live Split works. I swear I remember seeing always on top setting at some point in my life using this piece of software. Maybe not. Maybe I'm insane. Maybe it's just always on top and there's nothing you can do about it. Who knows? Hopefully my audio sounds at least moderately okay, by the way. Things are really weird for me. Like, I'm sure it's maybe, hopefully, completely unnoticeable that things are different since my last stream, like, nearly a month ago. I'll talk a little bit as to why it took that long. At some point, I'm sure. Dude, where the fuck is this setting? I swear to God it exists. Layout settings. Let's go deep in here. Let's go deep in the bowels of Live Split. Is this really not a setting? Because I'm driving myself insane going into every tiny little window that pops out of Live Split, and absolutely none of them are giving me the option I want. It's upsetting. It's deeply upsetting for me. This is how far I've fallen. Okay, whatever. I guess I'm just gonna, like, live with it? I can't seem to fix it, so I will... Let's see if there's something... Maybe this'll fix it, you know? It's like the most scuffed way I can think of to fix it. But maybe just by minimizing... Oh, but then I can't... I like having a little bit of a pop-up window of my own stream so I can make sure everything's not a complete disaster. You know what? Let's try the ultimate test. I'm just gonna restart Hobbit. And hopefully that'll fix things. I'm assuming this is a Windows 10 issue. Although, I don't know, like I said, it wasn't happening when I was practicing, so maybe it's some weird conflict with OBS as well. Now, it's doing it again as soon as I opened up Hobbit. It's some combination of awful things working together to sabotage me. Maybe if I... And this is my last ditch effort. I know I'm just stalling here and not doing anything, but that's kind of like my thing. Is not doing anything productive on my stream. Okay, I'm going to disable always on top in DxWind and hope that that fixes it. Because it's completely fine when DxWind slash the Hobbit is not open, but then as soon as I open the Hobbit, it starts doing it. It seems good now. Nope, never mind. Whatever, fuck it. I guess I'm just gonna live with it flickering for one stream and problem solve afterwards, but that is a little annoying. Alright, let me change my priority. That's okay. I wanted to change the Hobbit so it wasn't always on top anyways, because, I don't know. That's annoyed me ever since starting Hobbit speedruns, that MK set the profile so that it's always on top. I've never liked that, but I've never changed it, despite knowing how to change it the entire time. I'm just, you know, if it works well enough, I will live with, like, minor inconveniences for my entire life. That's just, you know, it's more of an inconvenience for me to fix the problem than it is to complain about the problem nonstop until I die. That's my strategy, at least. It's been working decently. Okay, so I guess I'll start by talking about why I've been gone for a decade, in internet terms, at least. You know, 20-day break is roughly equivalent to a decade, I think. It was somewhat, well, mostly happenstance and accidental, just a series of things happening in a row that led to me not streaming for as long as I did. Although I also definitely leaned into it towards the end. It started out with, like, there being real problems, and then I started playing Elden Ring, and I was like, ah, shit, well, I don't know. I could stream, or I could just keep playing Elden Ring. So I mainly just played a lot of Elden Ring. So that part's on me. However, there were some actual things stopping me from streaming for a while. One of which is me being particularly on the ball and busy looking for apartments and visiting, like, touring a bunch of different complexes, and I had one that wanted to do, like, a weird little interview thing. It was very messy. It was like a messy week of me going to, like, I don't even remember how many complexes we saw at this point, but eventually we found one that we liked, and I think we are going to get a lease on it as well. That was an epic jump. I think we're going to move in to the apartment that we like, but I haven't had, like, 100% confirmation on that, so that's been getting me. That's like I'm always anxious and nervous about at least one thing in my life. That's what it is currently. Is everything points in the direction of me definitely having an apartment to move in the upcoming month. But there's no real actual confirmation on that, so I might just be getting my hopes up and then going to be, like, absolutely destroyed in a month's time, but I guess we'll see when we get there. Thanks, Moose. How's it going? I know I've been very absent in not only the Hobbit scene, but in the everywhere scene. I've just been gone. It's been kind of nice, though. I've actually enjoyed the micro break I took. I mean, like I said, a lot of it was Elden Ring. Like, I played a shit ton of Elden Ring. I did beat it. I beat it just last night. Not that, like, I know that sounds even worse than it is. I know that, that really sounds like Elden Ring was such a negative force against me streaming, that was the only thing stopping me from streaming, and now that Elden Ring is done, at least for, I don't know, a week's time until I decide to replay it again immediately afterwards. But no, there were other things. But I did enjoy the time I took off from streaming as well. I mean, I don't know, it really helps just to take, like, a mental reset. That being said, it is fucking awful for me getting back into streaming. Like, I don't know. I feel like I almost had the thought that, like, I needed to look back at my last VOD that I did to remember how I act on stream. Like, I felt so unnatural about hitting the go live button that I was like, I need to practice being myself for a bit so that I'm not a complete wreck on stream. Lots of really reasonable, rational thoughts go on in my head. I didn't practice being myself, but I certainly had the thought. Why are none of my menu button inputs working, even more so than usual? Is that a thing? Is that an unknown thing about keeping the game in always on top? As soon as I change the game to no longer be always on top, it's eating significantly more of my menu inputs. I guess I'll figure that out off stream as well. Maybe there was a reason MK had that setting. Anyways, yeah. So what have I been up to? Where have I been? I hopefully scored an apartment that I will be moving into next month with my girlfriend, which is great, assuming it happens. And along with that, I should maybe, like, put a little preface here before the inevitable happens. This certainly was, like, an unprecedentedly long break for me, like, especially with no announcement or anything. I mean, not that I really needed an announcement or anything. Like I said, I didn't know it was going to happen to begin with, and I try and make it well known that I don't have any sort of schedule with my streaming or anything, so, I mean, if a long break pops up out of nowhere, that's, you know, it'll happen. It'll probably happen again, and probably more frequently if I had to guess, because along with moving out of my mom's place and moving into a new apartment, I'm definitely going to have to get a real job again. You know, I've skirted by with the grace of my mother, being able to do my shitty streams and make video games in my free time for long enough, I say. So I'll probably be getting a real job again, and by probably I mean definitely. And you know, assuming that I'm still going to be working on games in my off time, I don't know how much time I'll have for streaming. I mean, I don't know. I'll still want to do the races, obviously. But outside of, like, the races, you know, bi-weekly, I don't know how frequently I'll be streaming. And I'm not saying that I'm, like, never gonna stream again and this is, like, the end of my streaming career, but, like, it's definitely gonna be less consistent than it even already was, and it wasn't very consistent prior to this point anyways. I mean, there was some consistency. I was definitely streaming at least, like, once a week, but I don't know. And it's also, like, I'm at a point where I need to rationalize with myself that, like, this streaming thing, while I do think it's fun, and while I think I do, you know, at least a par job while I'm par as far as streaming goes, I don't get, like, basically anything. I guess I'll keep going just for practice sake. That was possibly the worst way you could die, just very stupid. I don't get much out of streaming in return, obviously. You know, it is fun, but, you know, I'm going to, like, have a lot of other things on my plate in a bit, so it's certainly probably going to be on the back burner. So yeah, I don't know. I guess I should at least make it known that, like, in the future, streams will probably be even less consistent, and I'm doing so good right now. Even less consistent, and not necessarily out of choice. This past couple of weeks, hey Hamglow, this past couple of weeks, or however long it's been, was somewhat mostly due to choice. I could have definitely probably put a stream in, even while I was, like, busy looking for apartments, but there were some other things that were stressing me out for that week as well. So I wasn't in the mentality for a stream then anyways, but, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how much free time I'm gonna have for streaming in the future. I guess we'll just see it as it unfolds, right? Like, you know, if I'm not streaming, you'll know why. It's just because I'm busy. If I am streaming, sick. That means that, I don't know, I'm probably feeling better about streaming for whatever reason. But, like, unless I can see a good reason to stream, or I've got, like, absolutely nothing to do, I'm probably not going to be streaming as frequently. So, you know, a bit of a bummer to start out this stream. I know I've been gone for so long, and then I come back being like, that's probably going to continue. But really, that's awesome. That is, I mean, it's just, you know, it's something that was inevitable, like, you know, unless I miraculously managed to pull, like, hundreds of viewers average and could make a living off of streaming alone, there was going to be a point where I would have to, you know, lessen the priority of my live stream broadcast to, you know, less than 5 people on average. So that's what I've got looking forward to. And who knows what my job will be. I'm gonna try for, like, not retail. Like, I know I don't have a college degree or anything, but I do know how to program in a couple different languages, a few different languages. So if I can score any sort of programming gig without a degree, that would be pretty snazzy. And probably, if that is what I end up doing, it would probably leave me with additional free time as well. So I guess that's what I'm looking forward to, or not looking forward to, I guess, is there's no way I can do this, but I'm just going to do it anyways because it's kind of funny. Yeah, I would have to go, like, instantly here, and then I'm still going to miss it. I mean, that jump was pretty nice, but yeah, the minecart's already there. I'm just gonna wait an arbitrary amount of seconds, and we'll see what happens. Because I know there's a few different cycles, and I'm just gonna take my time with it, wait a little bit, I don't know, swing a couple times, and let's see what happens. Hey, let's go! Wait, what? Why the fuck did that not hit the sign? Am I insane? What happened there? Okay, whatever. That was scuffed anyways. I'll just do the... Wait, I can't do the level over again because I hit the switch, right? God damn it. This game is ass. This is an ass game made by ass individuals. Okay. Oh, wait, I should delete my save. I hate having a save open. I don't mean the part where I said made by ass individuals. I'm sure everyone who took part in making this game was very nice. Probably. Anyways, so yeah, that's part 1 of why I've been away, is looking for a new apartment and finding... Oh, what am I doing? I need to fucking exit the game. It's like the whole reason I had to end that run. Oh, I guess I didn't have to end the run because I did hit the switch in that run, but I just fucking hate doing the level, I still don't know why I died there, or why I hit the other switch. I don't know. Something was weird there. I don't have an OSRS music addiction. It's just like the most convenient thing to have playing constantly. So I go with it. And I guess I'll talk about the audio issues now too, because that's what came up next. You might notice I don't have over-the-head headphones this time around. I decided to go with, and the cord on them is like really short and getting, please stop making loud noises. The cord is really short and makes it a little bit annoying to have my mouse where I like to have my mouse while playing epic games, such as Epic Bilbo and his Hobbit adventure. What am I fucking doing? What is this movement? But yeah, okay. So, let's start from, like, the very top, right? Let's start with me trying to get Elden Ring, because that, like, kind of stirred a number of the problems that led to me not streaming for as long as I did. Primarily audio issues, though there were a few other issues I had to handle. Like my monitors weren't working properly on my new graphics card. I had, like, numerous software issues that, like, things that normally had no problems were all of a sudden just non-functional. Just a number of issues related to upgrading to Windows 10. But primarily, like, I already had, like, a really scuffed Bluetooth life. Like, Bluetooth has never, ever worked seamlessly for me on no matter what computer I've used in the past, no matter what fucking hardware I've used in the past. I've never had good experiences with any Bluetooth technology. And that was also true for my previous setup with my wireless headphones I used to use. Like, to get those wireless headphones to work in the first place on my old operating system, I used to use Windows 8.1. It was hell to get it to work with that, too. So it's not just like Windows 10 introduced a bunch of issues that completely broke things. It was already kind of broken to begin with and was just somewhat hanging by a thread to get things to work at all. Like, I don't know. I can't even remember what I did to get the headphones to work previously on Windows 8, but I did some level of, like, searching for really, really sketchy drivers online, and eventually I found drivers that worked, and I also had to get, like, a specific Bluetooth receiver as well, because the one that's built into my motherboard didn't work. There was a number of problems. And I'm sure that I probably could go through, like, a number of awful steps to fix the Bluetooth on Windows 10, but I don't want to deal with that. Like, it was already a huge pain in the ass the last time I had to work with those headphones. And I'm sure, I think I was streaming at the time. Like, I remember starting streaming on my old wired headphones, and then at some point I did make the switch to the wireless ones. So maybe if you go back far enough in my YouTube videos, you'll find me complaining about all of that in a somewhat live reaction, but it was bad. And it was worse this time. So after updating my operating system to Windows 10 for the hope that would allow me to play Elden Ring, I just couldn't get the Bluetooth headphones to work at all. Like, it was a huge pain in the ass to get my computer to connect to them at all, and then as soon as I got them to connect, which I did get them to connect a few times, it worked. Like, it was awful. It worked like a few times, and then it just stopped working, and so I felt really bad because I tested all of this and made sure that my headphones were working well enough to race on not last Saturday, but the Saturday before that. And then, you know, day of races, my headphones introduced a brand new problem, never before seen, where they were connecting just fine, but they would frequently disconnect, and when they were connected, the audio was, like, horribly stuttery. And who knows why? Who knows why? Everything I looked up said, oh, this is a Wi-Fi problem. You've got too much busyness in your area. Have you considered disabling your Wi-Fi? Like, sure, let me just disable my internet while I'm live streaming. Not that I'm connected by Wi-Fi anyways, but still, like, that's not really a solution for me. And beyond that, I don't even think that was the problem. Not that I ever tested thoroughly enough to identify if that was the problem or not, but I mean, I was just so done with those headphones that I decided I'm just going to get wired headphones because I absolutely despise trying to troubleshoot Bluetooth stuff. And, you know, you'll get a number of things that say this is the perfect answer to your problem online, and they rarely do anything, so I mean, I just went through, like, that entire day was just me troubleshooting whatever the fuck was wrong with my headphones, and it did not work no matter what I did. So I got new headphones, which I'm now using, but yeah, I don't know. It's really weird for me, and I'm not even sure if I sound comfortable while I'm talking, because I am kind of uncomfortable talking right now. I'm not used to hearing this much of my own voice. I got active noise canceling earbuds, but just like, you know, that it's not over the ear. There's nothing to cover the backside of your ear, which does absorb a decent amount of sound. So I'm hearing myself much louder than I normally hear myself, which is, not super comfy for me. Yes, I agree, Boof. Thank you. It's I don't know, it's handy though. It's a really nice game. I mean, I've got plenty of games that I used for this purpose in the past, and I do still at some point want to go back and finish the final cartridge in End is Nigh that I never finished. It's just like such a fucking slog. Like, I'm never really that big of a fan of just extremely long endurance challenges. I did the harder one, too, which is, like, really hard for me to rationalize why I've had so much difficulty with the easier of the two mega carts, but I'm sure I'll go back to that at some point. I just like having a game that I don't really give a shit what happens in the game at all, which is how I keep my mentality up during speedrunning. Like, I don't really care about having a great time at this point. You know, I might have cared a little bit more in the past, but it's just something fun to do while rambling on endlessly. So yeah, who knows how my audio sounds? I especially because my audio setup is hooked through my speakers now instead of directly through, you know, my computer's audio channel. It's just using the same audio settings that my PC normally has, like, you know, how Windows Mixer has a different profile when you're using different audio devices. Since I have these headphones plugged into my speakers directly, it's treating it as if it's the same audio device, obviously, which means I had to do a bunch of finagling to get my audio to sound remotely similar to how it used to be, and hopefully it's a good balance. I also finally took the time to mess with my mic settings, because, like, you know, I've talked about the issues with my mic in the past. It's super sensitive, not in the good way. Like, I don't know, you probably want a somewhat sensitive mic, but it's sensitive in the range of where it hears your voice, and if you're even slightly far away from the microphone, it almost entirely silences you, which makes it really hard to find a balance in gain that is audible when I'm just talking normally, but also doesn't peak when I get a little bit louder. So I lowered my gain ever so slightly, and it's probably in a better balance than it used to be, but we'll see, you know? I don't think it's that important that audio is perfect at all times. Like, I've been watching Tolo play through Elden Ring finally, now that I'm done with Elden Ring, and his fucking audio is really bad for Elden Ring. Like, no, I don't know. Tolo sometimes has pretty scuffed audio, but especially for Elden Ring, and it doesn't help that he's not looking at his chat at all. His voice is pretty damn quiet at times. So I guess I should probably, you know, pivot to Elden Ring talk, because, you know, that is the main reason that I've been gone for like 20 whatever the fuck days it's been. I played a lot of Elden Ring. I think my final time in game was like 126 hours or something. That I've logged over, you know, my absence, basically. I more or less 100%ed the game. Somewhat. You know, there's still a few items that, now that I'm done with the game, like I beat the final boss and I think all of the main bosses. I did have to look up how to get to one of the bosses because, whatever the fuck the name of the two-headed dragon is, Blue Eyes White Dragon, it's not the most intuitive boss fight to get to. I did see the path leading to where you get to the boss fight, but I didn't see where you were supposed to drop down from. If I got that, I probably would have found the boss, but even looking from a glance, it is not obvious that there's going to be anything interesting in that. What am I doing, dude? I forgot what part of the fucking run I was at. Just wait for the cutscene. Yeah, the way that you enter the boss arena is not the clearest from a distance. It really looks like there's absolutely nothing going on in that area. And then you get there and there's just a prompt, basically, that's like, fight boss? Question mark? Would you like to fight a boss here? So, that's one thing I did have to look up before finishing the game. But I basically only wiki-checked for NPC quests because, like, dude, I don't have the fucking time and patience to scour through every single possible location, like, 30+ times to finish an NPC's quest. So, whenever there was an NPC who I wanted to finish their quest line and it wasn't immediately obvious what I was supposed to be doing with them next, I just looked that up. But that's, like, the extent of my wiki checking. That one boss and NPCs, because it's just dumb, basically. Oh, fuck it. I'll keep it going for practice again. I forgot. Good run. really, really good runs. I don't know why I'm doing the difficult stuff in, Oh, there you go. I fucked that up, finally. I don't know why I'm doing the difficult stuff as if it's nothing, and dying in the stupidest ways in Overhill right now. I also got Age of the Stars. We're fucking both simps for Ronnie, Boof. You and me together. Hey, how's it going? It's good. Good stream so far. I don't know, maybe it's good. I'm so not used to streams that I don't know if my energy is right now. I don't know if my chakras are aligned for the stream currently, but I think it's going okay. I think it's going about as good as it ever was. Anyways, yeah, fucking Elden Ring. So, I tried. I really fucking tried to scour, like, every single nook and cranny of every area in Elden Ring as I went through it. Like, I was map checking constantly. As soon as I figured out where you get the map items, I was like, that was the first thing I did when I went to a new area, which was not very fun going through Mount Gelmir to get that map at the start of Altus Plateau. That's a bit of a tricky one. Probably the trickiest map. I'm glad that there was at least one tricky map in the game, though, because most of them are, like, directly in the most obvious line of travel and, like, impossible to miss. They needed at least one exploration in complete darkness, no idea where you're going, map, I think, and they got it. Yeah, what was I saying? I tried, basically. I tried my goddamn hardest to completely find every single item in every single area, and I did a pretty good job. Like, when I was looking back, the one thing that I've checked now that I've beaten the game is, how did I do on the cookbooks? I only missed 2 cookbooks in the playthrough, which is probably somewhat impressive. I knew that wasn't gonna make it. The 2 that I missed were, like, just stupid also. I fucking hated exploring. Like, as someone who is, like, really, really trying to get every item in the game, exploring the consecrated snowgrounds or whatever it's called was just awful. I still imagine that there's something interesting in the part of it that's just, like, flooded with ghostly dragonkin warriors, but I don't fucking give a shit enough to check that area blind. I just gave up on that, basically. You're just, like, wandering around with, like, a 2-inch view distance, trying to scour every single little fucking white item in a white background. I missed, as far as, like, things that I shouldn't have missed, I missed at the first Church of Marika. I guess another thing I checked for was bell bearings. I forgot about that. At the first Church of Marika, I missed an item that was literally just sitting right in front of the church. How did I miss it? Because the items in the game are white, and everything in the fucking snowfield is white. Like, it's borderline impossible to see items in that. Strength build or pussy blood loss? Kind of both. Kind of both. I did dual wield greatswords, although one was Moonlight Greatsword and one was Milos Greatsword from killing Dung Eater. So, both, I guess. Is that a satisfying enough answer? I do. I mean, I commented on it. I don't know. Did I comment on it? Maybe I haven't commented on it on stream. I do fucking hate everybody. The way that people talk about Dark Souls playstyles. Like, look, the only thing that I'll allow criticism for is the Mimic tier. Because the Mimic tier is legit, like, busted status. It just doubles your damage. Like, I don't really think that is a fun way of playing the game. But, like, as far as, you know, Great Azure and or Comet Azure, whatever the fuck it's called, and the mystic physic that allows you to have infinite mana and the numerous ways you can buff your sorcery power, like, that, to me, is funny as hell, and like, I don't know why so many people are shitting on that build specifically, when, like, the lengths you have to go to get that build off the ground to use it on, like, the early game bosses, which is really where it's most effective. I mean, you can't use the laser that effectively on Radagon, who will just teleport behind your ass constantly. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get the mockery towards that in particular. Like, it's not even as effective as people make it out to be. Like, people act like if you use that combination, you just delete the game and there's no play to it. Where, you know, outside of boss fights, which, for one, like I said, it doesn't even work that well on. I mean, I've seen someone play that, and it doesn't work well on bosses outside of, like, Limgrave, you know? Like, even past, well, no, it kind of destroys Renala. But Renala's, like, the easiest fucking boss in the world anyways, so... It's not as stupid as a combination as people make it out to be. Mimic tier got patched, like, 5 days ago. I know, but it's still insane. Like, even post-patch, it's not that nerfed. You saw the sorcery build destroy Radagon? I saw the sorcery build do, like, 30% of Radagon's health before Radagon got angry and didn't allow it. And once you're past that point, like, I mean, I guess you could use Moonlight Greatsword, which is still pretty good as an int weapon. Once you get past the point of having infinite mana, like, you don't really have that much survivability. I mean, the int required to make Comet Azure do that much damage, because it does scale pretty heftily on int, and that is, like, in most cases, when you'll see people doing that much damage, they have, like, above 50 int. Well, at least, I don't know, if you're capping your stats like I did. I guess that is another thing, is the person that I saw playing it did the same thing I did, where they capped themselves at 120, because I wanted to do PvP after I was done, and not have ruined my character for that. But, I guess, if you don't care about capping your level, then it could be insane. But if you put some level of restriction on that, which, I don't know, this is where I start to get into the argument of, is Elden Ring too hard? Which I was kind of blown away when I saw Dunkey's video on it, and he said, it's too hard. As somebody who, the first time through the game, you know, like, sight reading these bosses, I didn't, you know, like, I made very sure when I was watching people play the game that I didn't watch anything that was outside of what I've already done. I think, well, what's his name? Is it Godwin? God, whatever the fucking God, blank is right before Radagon. I did him in 3 tries, and then I did Radagon and the Beast on my 7th try. And I was really surprised to see that the Radagon part of the boss fight was complained about at all, because out of those 7 attempts that I took to beat it, only 2 of those were deaths to Radagon, and then I never died to Radagon again. He does a lot of damage, but have you also considered the fact that, like, a lot of the late game bosses have surprisingly low HP? Like, a lot. I was really shocked to see how easy Malekith was. Like, I mean, Malekith was not a particularly enjoyable fight for me, just because the entirety of Farum Azula, or whatever the fuck it's called, ran at like 30 FPS on average, and especially in the boss fight, it dipped pretty heavily when he was doing his like Black Flames effect. That boss fight sucked for me, and it still only took like 5 tries. I never thought there was a difficulty spike in the game either. I first tried the Fire Giant. Like, the Fire Giant was a joke. And the fact that Dunkey was showcasing the fucking Snowlands as a difficulty spike, I was like, are we playing the same game here? Like, I never had, and this is with capping myself at level 120 also. Like, I got to level 120 prior to even finishing the sewers of Lanedale, just because the way I played the game of like full clearing every area led to me getting a shit ton of runes early on. And I also did like Dragon's Barrow earlier than I probably should have, so I was rocking like a +9 greatsword, and then eventually 2 +9 greatswords for a decent amount of the game. But, like, that's not that difficult to do, also. And even without that, like, I don't know, just enemies don't really have that much health in the game. Like, I feel like I could have gone the entire game with just, like, a +5 weapon, even, and it would have felt more balanced. But I don't get the argument that it's too hard. The only thing that I'll say was actually, like, stupid and should be changed is the Malenia fight. She is just an awful boss the way she currently is. The fucking infinite windmill blade attack she does. If she starts the attack when you're close to the boss, you'll get hit. You might not die. It's kind of like a random chance whether you'll die or not. But I have yet to find or see a consistent method of dodging that attack when you're close to the boss. Like, the most I've seen was somebody saying, I don't know, I roll in this very specific fashion and it works half the time. Like, that's the best I've seen with Malenia, except for, and this is where it gets really stupid for me, is the people using the one weapon art. I forget the name of it. It's like Bloodhound Step or something. It's Bloodhound something, for sure. You thought the game was decently hard, but beat most bosses first try? I beat a lot first try. And the ones that took me a few tries, like, I think the bosses that I spent longest on was, for sure, Malenia took, like, 3 maybe even 4 hours across 2 different days. But I just hate that fight. Outside of that, I mean, that was the first boss in a while that actually gave me any amount of trouble. I think prior to that, maybe the big space worm, the first time I went through it, took a few tries, because at that point, I didn't really have anything going for me as far as dealing damage. I think when I fought the big space worm, because that's what you need to do to get Moonlight Greatsword, I was still using Bloodhound's Fang at +5, and I don't even think it's possible to get a bleed trigger on that boss. So that was particularly rough, because Bloodhound Fang does not do that much damage. Its damage is pretty low as a result of its bleed, and if you can't bleed, then you're kind of fucked. So that fight took me a while, but no longer than an hour, I don't think. And then the only other boss that stands out as being difficult was Crucible Knight. And that's because Crucible Knight is one of the first bosses I fought. I had a +0 weapon. I might have still been using Bloodhound's Fang. I think I was, for sure. But it was +0, because I hadn't found any Sombers yet. I didn't know that mines were the red circles on the map. Crucible took me a good couple of hours or so. And those were like the only bosses that gave me difficulty. Had trouble with Godskin Duo and Malekith. Malekith is understandable. Godskin Duo is just patience. Like, I don't think that that's a particularly difficult fight, especially once you realize that they're always going to respawn each other. Like, I fought the boss incorrectly the first time I fought it, and that's why I died. I think it only took me 2 tries. The first time I fought it, I killed one, and it resurrected the other. So in my head, I was thinking of Dark Souls 2, and I was like, oh, you must need to kill these bosses at the same time, or they're going to resurrect each other. And then I did that, and died in the process. But then I found out next fight that they just respawn anyways. Like, I killed both of them equally, and another one just appears. So it's more like the Four Kings, where they're just always going to pop up with new ones. So if you just take them one at a time, I don't think it's that bad. But certainly, I mean, I think that's the reason I was so annoyed by Dunkey's criticism, is there were, like, valid things that he could have criticized, and I don't think that the amount of damage enemies do is one of them. If he wanted to complain about Malenia specifically, I would allow it, because that boss is awful and needs to be changed. But everything outside of that, I thought was fine. I never really struggled too much at the end game, at least. Oh, Mog! Mog is my favorite fight in the game, and that guy does a stupid amount of damage, including an attack that you can't dodge. Mog has an undodgeable attack that you need to waste 3 flasks on, and that's sick as hell. I love that fight. I think Mog is definitely the highlight as far as boss fights go for me. But why did he? I don't know. He had like a brief criticism on upgrades too. That he didn't even go into detail on it, which is like, I feel like if you watched his review on it and hadn't played the game, what you would read that criticism as is a criticism that I think would have been valid for, like, you know, Dark Souls 1 or maybe even 2 and 3. I don't really remember how the upgrade systems worked in those games, but, like, there certainly have been Dark Souls games in the past, or maybe I should just say FromSoft games, in the past where in order to upgrade specific weapons, you need, like, 3 different kinds of rocks, and you have to talk to a specific NPC that knows how to use those rocks, and whenever you change a weapon, most of that is, like, permanent, and you kind of ruin your weapon to remove the affinity you put on it. Those were awful systems, and that's what it felt like his criticism was talking about, and none of that exists in Elden Ring. So I don't know why he criticized the weapon upgrade system as a detriment when I feel like it's the best it's ever been in a FromSoft game. Like, there's literally just 2 different kinds of upgrade materials, one for special weapons, and one for everything else. That's it. There's different tiers of those upgrade materials to you know, level out so that you can't just, you know, farm for 1,000,000 of tier 1 rocks and max out your weapon, right? They needed some level of tiering to the upgrade materials, or you could just sit in the first area of the game and get a max level weapon, which would be dumb. So the way they have the rocks distributed makes perfect sense to me. And as far as, like, affinities and stuff go, it is, like, as simple as it's ever been. You literally just find items in the game that allow you to put different special moves on your weapons, and those special moves can also change the damage scaling, but even that part is, like, who cares? With the exception of the ones that give you, like, poison or bleed. Like, those are pretty meaningful, or frost, right? But in general, like, just the difference between a heavy affinity and a keen affinity, like, who cares? And you can always pick standard if you want to. And you can swap them out, like, as freely as you want. Like, I don't know what there is to complain about the weapon upgrade system. Like, it's as straightforward as it could possibly be, in my eyes. So much so that I feel left out for only using special weapons in my first playthrough. Like, I wish I got to experiment more with all the fun, wacky, zany weapon arts, but with a special weapon, you are not allowed. That was a really fun slope boost there. So that criticism felt pretty empty to me, and especially so the fact that he didn't really talk about it at all. It just felt like he wanted to pad it with more criticisms than just enemies hit too hard, and he was, like, struggling for things to think of, when I think that there's significantly more valid criticisms to be made, but he couldn't make the more valid criticisms because he complimented the enemy variety, which is, like, that's one of the things that I think the game lacks most. Hey, Sullivan. Sorry for double audio. I know it's awful on the main menu. I was just, you know, I was venting for a little bit. I think if you're going to make any, like, criticisms that'll touch home with me, and I'll see truth in them and feel like they're actually present in the video game we're talking about, it's the fact that you will fight the same bosses like 30 different times. I do enjoy a handful of the boss fights, but, like, as fun as my 2-hour, you know, first Crucible fight was, I was not expecting Crucible Knight to be one of the most reoccurring bosses in the game. It kind of soured it a little bit when I realized, like, oh, this guy's just gonna be everywhere, huh? Especially, the fucking double Crucible Knight fight is just awful. Which, again, there's another criticism to be made, is there are so many, and they had to cut corners, right? Like, I maybe will be a little bit more lenient on how much they're reusing, like, certain enemies or bosses, but, like, I wish the way that they tried to, like, remix it and make it more interesting wasn't just throwing another boss in there. Like, you've seen Crucible Knight. What about Crucible Knight and Misbegotten Warrior? What about 2 Crucible Knights? What about Crucible Knight, except this time he's a frog? I don't know. You fight a lot of the fucking shitty cat statue bosses. This time he has 3 heads, except the 3rd head really doesn't change the fight at all. It's the exact same fight. This time there's 2 of them, a reoccurring theme, not my favorite. The amount of, like, multi-boss fights I found particularly annoying. It has been a while, Sullivan, not just for you, for me as well. I took like a 20-something day break from streaming. Somewhat intentional, kind of, somewhat circumstance. But, yeah, I am, like, really not a fan. Like, look, it's one thing if you want to take a boss and make it a regular enemy, right? Like, you know, I've got no issues with, like, the Capra Demon reappearing at places in, what's the name of the area called? The Lava Town in Dark Souls 1. I have no problems with that. But I do have issues when Crucible Knight is treated as if he's a brand new boss fight just by throwing another dude in with him. That's not my favorite. And it happens pretty frequently, not just with Crucible Knight. I mean, fucking Morgott is kind of just, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't use Morgott as an example, because at least, like, Morgott does have an almost entirely new moveset. I feel bad about the Morgott fight. By the way, this is a game that is too hard. Elden Ring is too hard. By the time I fought Morgott, because I had, like, full cleared every single area prior, I definitely had +9 weapons going into this one. By the time Morgott entered Phase 2, this is, like, the second time I fought him, I staggered him immediately after he entered Phase 2, just did a couple jump attacks while he was staggered. Both my bleed and my frostbite hit at the same time, and he just died. I never really got to experience what Phase 2 of Morgott was like. I got summoned for the fight a handful of times to, like, try and, you know, feel out the boss fight that I felt got cheated from me, but even when I was summoned, we just fucked him up even harder. Like, I never really got to experience the Morgott fight. Hope I'm better now. I'm good. I wasn't really in a bad sort the days that I was gone. I was for like the first week, but I mean, you shouldn't feel bad for my absence. I was really just playing too much Elden Ring. Is the most truth I can speak today. I don't know. There were so many boss fights that just felt like, I don't know. I might have agreed that the game was too hard if not for the boss's HP pools being so low. Like, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just, like, I'm okay with boss fights doing a shit ton of damage so long as I'm also dealing a shit ton of damage. Like, that doesn't feel demoralizing to me. You know, if I get one hit killed by a particular attack, which rarely happened, the only attack that I think legitimately one hit killed me were Estelle, the fucking alien worm, his grab attack, always one hit kill me. It just does that. I mean, look, I'll say that Estelle probably maybe lower the damage value on the grab. I'll say in certain cases, yes, I will say some attacks maybe have too much damage, but for the most part, I thought it was fine. It's really just the only two that stand out were Estelle's grab and Malenia's infinite combo. Those are the two. Outside of those attacks, I really thought everything else was fine. Like, when I got hit by a grab, I think that grabs should kill. Maybe that's just me. Like, even Estelle, I was not really that upset about it. I guess Estelle is a slightly different scenario, because not only is it a grab, but it's also a teleports behind you grab. That adds to the annoyance a little bit. But in general, I feel like grabs are, like, the slowest, most telegraphed attacks in the entire game. And, yeah, they should probably one-hit kill you if you get grabbed. I don't really have an issue with that. And there's a lot of grabs that don't one-hit kill you. Most of the grabs don't one-hit kill you. And this is all assuming that you level your HP. And I'm not saying that Dunkey specifically didn't, because, you know, there were a few clips where Dunkey had big HP bar, which is what you want to see. But, like, I feel like if you're complaining about things one-hit killing you, and you're in, like, you know, the mountaintops of the giants with level 20 vigor, then maybe the game's not the problem. Maybe you made some mistakes along the way, and that's why you're getting one-hit killed by everything. There are respecs, you know, if you're having these problems, it's not too late. You can make it so that you're not getting one-shot by things. You know, let's talk about more things that I think suck about Elden Ring. I think I've covered the most of it. The other is, I mean, this is where I get into nitpicky territory. I thought Radahn was kind of ass. I was not the biggest fan of the Radahn fight. I think it's cinematic and cool to look at. Like, you know, the idea behind the boss sort of being intended for you to, like, summon things along the way towards him. Like, it does have, like, a fucking WoW raid boss sort of feel to it. But I think the boss fight itself is kind of ass as a result of it. Like, the fight as a whole suffers as a result of, like, the really tedious run back you have to do to the boss every single time you want to fight him. And it's not like a clean run back either. You have to be dodging the entire time as well. So, I don't know. Radahn was a sloppy fight. And I didn't like the fight enough that I did use the summons. I mean, for one, because it really seems like you're intended to. Like, it seems like the boss is designed around... And it's not even like the summons do any damage to him. It's more just the fact that they take aggro off of you sometimes lets you get free hits in. And especially at the time where I fought Radahn, at least, I could use the helping hand. I was doing, like, 150 damage to him or something. The only reason I skirted by on the Radahn fight is because of bleed. Which, like, yeah, I you know... Bleed is weird. Bleed and Frostbite are weird in that, like... I talked to my friend Austin, who is also playing through the game at the same time as me. Did I set the priority to high? I'm getting some weird stutters here. I might have forgotten to do that when I reset the game. Let's test. Did I set it to high? Put your bets in now. I did not. I did not set priority to high. There you go. That explains some stuttering there. You were in a bad sort against some Elden Ring bosses, though. Look, you know, I get a little gamer angry sometimes. I did not like the Estelle grab in the moment, but I can say now, after it's done and I've beaten it, that I don't think it was that bad, because it is a very slow attack. I don't know. The refight of Estelle is the one that I would, if I'm going to take issue with any part of Estelle, the one that you find in some random mine in snow area, that's worse by a lot. Because not only is it teleports behind you grab, it's a teleports behind you grab, except I duplicated myself to like 30 different Estelles. Which one's the real me? I don't think that actually... I think that might even be easier. I just beat that boss on like the second or third try, so it didn't really matter. But now that I'm thinking about it, I think that having the clones of it might actually make that attack easier. Because no matter where the real one is, at least at all times, you can see what he's doing. I did think as far as teleports behind you goes, I didn't think Radagon's teleporting was too bad. I did think that the two-headed dragon fight teleporting was pretty ass. Some of its attacks come out really fucking quick after it teleports, and unless you're dodging solely on audio cue alone, which, like, you know, sorry if you're deaf, I guess. And I am kind of deaf, at least as far as, like, directions go. I mean, it's probably just my speaker setup. But, okay. RuneScape music is still playing. With my headphones, the music that you're hearing is louder than the music I'm hearing. I mean, I could probably just turn my headphones up a little bit so I can actually fucking hear the music. Let's see. Oh, well now I'm just getting the fucking Hobbit menu music. That's not what I want. It's really fucking hard to adjust the volume on this thing. So much so that I didn't even recognize that I could adjust the volume on these headphones when I first got them. I was in a call with my friend James, and I was like, I can't fucking hear this guy. And I had just turned, like, my system audio to max, and he was, like, still inaudible, so I did it. I did the ultimate man sin. I read the manual. Can you believe it? I gotta put my man card in the trash. I'm no longer gender-assigned man. But it's just like, it's a really, really tiny knob on the fucking battery case for the, what is it called? Active noise canceling. There you go. I forgot the term for it. It's got like a little box. I don't know if I can, yeah, there you go. I can bring it into camera view. And there's a very, very small, almost invisible knob on it that changes the volume. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? All right, is there anything else interesting I can say about Elden Ring? I think that I should make this stream small, even though, like, I've got, obviously, like, I don't know, 2+ weeks of things that I could talk about. I think that it's probably best for myself if I don't overextend and then end up feeling bad about the way the stream went, because that leaves me in another situation where I don't want to stream again for like a couple of weeks, and let's try and avoid that. Let's try and avoid me getting lost in the Elden Ring mines again. I mean, part of it was just me wanting to finish Elden Ring so that I had, like, oh fuck, my combo, my full hit combo, my true combo. I have to wait for my meter to build. I'm keeping this run. Still 5 seconds ahead. That's so stupid. How the fuck did I PB on World's Worst Dream World? That's not like me. I usually refuse to start a run. Maybe I PB'd. Oh, you know what? It was during a race. That's why. I forgot that this PB is still the one that I got during a race with Crix. That's so dumb. It's so dumb. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's not that dumb if you've seen how I've played today. I'm not exactly at peak performance right now. Something's got to give, as they say. I do think that despite, you know, not practicing at all for 2 or 3 weeks, I guess it's closer to 2 weeks, because I did do, like, a tiny amount of practice prior to last race day, even though I didn't end up taking part in the races. At that point, I was still unaware that my headphones would be an issue. I did do some slight... I'm, like, looking too far to the left when I'm doing this now. Yeah, there you go. I got a little practice in 2 weeks ago, but I haven't touched the game since. And why would I? Why would I play The Hobbit when I could be playing Elden Ring instead? That's what I'm thinking right now, as we speak. That's the real reason I'm trying to get myself out of streaming for longer, is so that I can go back. I do want to take, like, at least a few days break, maybe even a few weeks break before I start a new character in Elden Ring, or go back and, like, do any items I missed on my current character, just because, like, I played probably definitely too much Elden Ring in the past couple weeks to get it finished in, like, nearly 100%. As close as I could get to 100% in that time frame. So I could use the break. Not that I'm not going to be consuming Elden Ring content, though. I'm taking a break from playing Elden Ring so that I can watch other people play Elden Ring. That's what it's all about right there. That's the main reason to beat Elden Ring, is so that you can finally watch other people beat it too. I don't know. I thought Elden Ring is definitely 100% the best thing that FromSoft has made. Despite that it does have issues, like some real issues, I don't think that difficulty is one of them. I thought it was so, like, and God, I don't mean to, like, harp on Dunkey's review this much. Like, if he fucking hated aspects of it, he hated aspects of it, but, like, he is a Mimic tier user. He's a confirmed Mimic tier user, so all opinions are invalidated. No, not really. But I do think that a lot of the things he said outside of difficulty especially were like, huh? Like, he mentioned rewards and how, like, you know, you don't know what you're going to get, I think he said, but then you get, like, an item that you can't even use, and I'm like, well, what do you fucking expect? Like, not every item in the game is going to be exciting for everybody. It's not like when you pick a character class, they're going to change every single item drop to fit your playstyle exclusively. Like, you need the cool items there for other people too. I mean, it's just, that's a realistic look to it, I guess. And not that I even, like, would enjoy it more if it was the other way either. I kind of hate targeted loot systems in games. It's never been enjoyable for me. Whenever I get a drop, I don't want it to be like, I don't know. I don't want to be excited for an item that was, like, guaranteed going to be good for me. When I get an item in a game, I want it to be exciting, not only because it's good for me, but because it's good for me amongst the realm of things that weren't good for me. And I mean, you need that balance. And I think Elden Ring toes it perfectly fine. Like, it's not like there's an abundance of, like, well, I don't know, you could probably make the argument that, like, a lot of the interesting drops are weapon arts that you can't use if you're using a special weapon. A lot of the item drops are incantations and spells, which, you know, if you don't have faith or int or arcane, fuck you. But I think that the balance is just fine. There's plenty of fucking chunky melee weapons for everyone. Not that it even fucking matters, you know? Like, you can't complain about item variety and also be the guy who's using the chair weapon, right? Like, if you're using the fucking Game of Thrones sword, then I think that the item variety doesn't even matter to you to begin with. Not that I'm saying that Dunkey is, but, like, I saw a lot of people agree with that claim, and I've seen a lot more people using the exact same, like, 3 different weapons in every single playthrough. So, I don't know. I don't think that criticism really matters to people as much as they're saying it does. Anyways, it especially felt weird that he brought up the amount of runes that enemies drop, because, I mean, that's always struck me as something that has never mattered in any FromSoft game. I mean, like, there are always places that are better to farm souls if you want to farm souls, but, like, I would make the argument that that never mattered. I mean, like I said, I capped myself at 120, and I reached 120 prior to even finishing Lanedale. I dropped about, like, 4 million, maybe 5 million runes throughout the rest of my playthrough of the game. Like, that they give you such an abundance everywhere you go that I don't really see why it's worth complaining about the fact that, like, one particularly difficult enemy doesn't drop as much as a particularly easy enemy. And especially when, like, I don't even remember which Crucible Knight he was showing off, but, like, runes are heavily scaled to the area that you get them in. So even if that one particular enemy, the fucking piece of shit who doesn't turn around, was easy, the area around him, I think he was in, like, the Deep Throat depths or whatever. And that area is, Well, I don't know, it's not that hard either, but the enemies are scaled at least. I didn't really think a lot of the areas were that hard, but there is some obvious level scaling. Like, you know, there is a clear difference from being in Caelid and being in the Dragon's Barrow. That's probably, like, if we're gonna talk about spikes, like, that's the only place in the game where the difficulty genuinely spikes, is, you jump across a tiny little gap in a ravine, and all of a sudden, the same enemies that you were two-shotting in Caelid before, you're still in Caelid, but now they take like 30 hits and kill you in one hit. That's a real spike. But also Dragon's Barrow is like, I don't know. I mean, for one, it's kind of hard to get into. Like, there is only that one access point. I'm trying to think. I know there's 2 access points, but I can't even remember the other one. It's not coming to mind. Oh, and the Bestial Sanctum teleport, right? Are those the only 2? I think those might be the only 2 access points to Dragon's Barrow, but I'm probably forgetting one. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, point is, it's not super easy to accidentally stumble your way in there, and as soon as you get in there, it is, like, flooded with dragons, so you would probably get the idea that it's a slightly more dangerous area than the rest of Caelid. It also, like, gives you a title drop for it being a different area. Like, it's called Grail, whatever his name is. I like Gayrol. Yeah, it's called somebody's Dragon's Barrow. So, I don't know. But again, if you want to make the argument that there is a difficulty spike, that's the only place where I think it actually holds up. I mean, like, look. I guess you could say that there's a difficulty spike when you get to the Mountain of Giants solely because, like, one of the first areas you see is the Zamor ruins, which are just full of awful pieces of shit. Just a really... I mean, it's a boss. Like, it is technically a boss, and it's just flooded with, I don't know, like 10 plus of them. And they will wombo combo the shit out of you without any care for your safety or well-being. So I guess there is like a little bit of a spike, but that's mainly just because those are difficult enemies, not because like they massively upped the damage that regular enemies do or the health that enemies have. Health especially is like, I don't know, I felt like health of enemies never felt like it was in a good spot. I always felt like I was over-leveled once I got out of Limgrave. And again, I probably was, like, literally a little bit over-leveled just for how much I explored in every area before moving on. So there's some of that that's just, like, actually true. I was over-leveled. But also, I don't know. Like, I've seen someone do a level 1 playthrough, and just upgrading your weapon alone is plenty. Dude, I've got my audio too loud. I liked it more when I couldn't hear the music. I felt like that made it easier for me to have a clear train of thought. Anyways. Yeah, I've seen someone do a level 1 playthrough, and Tolo, again, it's Tolo. Even with just weapon upgrades, it's kind of like enemies don't exist. At least regular enemies. Like, I even to the end of the game was like either one-shotting or one-comboing basic enemies. With jump attacks, of course. With jump attacks. The jump attack is another thing that, like, if you're gonna talk about balance, I think that you should talk about the things that are probably too in favor of the player as well. I think that jump attacks are cool, but probably too good. I think that the ease at which you can stagger most things with just a few jump attacks is kind of absurd. And also, like, especially with the Claw Talisman, it's like, why would I ever do anything other than a jump attack? This is epic gaming right here. Why would I ever do anything other than a jump attack? And I felt like that through basically my entire playthrough. Once I figured out that jump attacks were good, that is, like, kind of all I used. And maybe that's why I had so much difficulty on Malenia. But it worked! I mean, I saw people were saying they had to, like, respec out of heavy strength weapons to beat Malenia. I killed the entire boss using exclusively double greatsword jump attacks, so let me tell you that it is very possible with strength. All you have to do is just get very lucky and hope that she doesn't use the bullshit attack that often. That's really all there was to it. Like, I never died. I got to the point in my 4 hours of fighting Malenia that I did not die to any attack that wasn't the, whatever it's called. I know it has a name because it's a weapon art also. I forget the name of it. What is happening there? Am I insane? Why is that switching in the opposite direction? I feel like I'm losing my mind. Either I'm missing my swing, or... I mean, I'm glad I survived. Oh, shit, I almost didn't survive. Something weird is happening there. I am off of a new graphics card, by the way. I guess I didn't really mention that part. I think during the last stream, I talked about I was debating getting a new graphics card just so I could play Elden Ring. I guess I kind of assumed that it was obvious I did that since I'm talking about the fact that I played Elden Ring. But, yeah, I am on a new graphics card. I am on Windows 10 now. There are some things that have changed since I last streamed The Hobbit. And, there's some weird stuff happening. I love that. That's my favorite. Actually, one of my favorite. Hood classic moment right there. You gotta love it when you get the slope boost, but you're just looking too far to the left. Anyways, yeah, jump attacks are silly. Jump attacks are very silly, especially with the Claw Talisman. I think I don't know. I like the Claw Talisman. I use it. Like, maybe don't nerf it because it's certainly helped me on my journeys, but it probably could be nerfed. I mean, the Claw Talisman can stay, but I think jump attacks in general could be nerfed. Just because, like, not only are they the attack that does the most damage in the game, they also do the most posture damage. Like, I feel like they should have one or the other, and I vote in favor of them just having the posture damage. They would still be very strong if they were just the most posture damaging attack in the game. That would still be enough to tip them over into probably still being the only attack I use. But as it stands, it's the only attack I use, and I have to feel a little guilty about it because of how strong it is. So if we can just patch that guilt out, I'd feel much better about the situation. I finally got the backup first try. Look at this guy. He's a living legend. How did he get so good at The Hobbit? People are asking me this constantly. Will, how did you get so good at The Hobbit? Well, it all comes with a lack of practice. An absolute lack of practice or care for the run whatsoever. If you can nail that down, I think you're in the right headspace to start taking lessons from me, the pro. I forget how to do this. I literally just straight up forget how to do this. I changed the way I do this, and I don't remember what I do now. I might, like, revert back to the old way of doing it, because I don't really remember what I'm supposed to do with my new strat here. See, this is why I could have used a little bit of practice. I don't even remember how to do this. Okay, I think I wanted to get that straight. Oh, see, like, why am I falling, though? Normally I get, like, stuck in a little nook and cranny. And I read a message that says, plump sort could pass. Oh, or sorry, skinny sort could pass, plump sort, oh, plump sort. You know, you can tell I'm a real Elden Ring pro here. One of the best. That's what you order at sushi places? Dude, I'm playing Hobbit. There's no way I could remember what I said to get that joke. I'm sure that whatever I said was probably like 5 minutes ago, and I don't have the attention span to keep that much info in my head at once. Dude, why am I falling? Why am I falling here? I'll take this opportunity to turn my volume down on my headphones. This is a really professional speedrun. Okay, thank you. More headphone time. Go down, volume. God, it's so hard to push that knob. Winky face. Okay. This feels good. Okay, and it is good. There you go. It was perfect, except I fell through the tree, which is a bad sign. You don't want to see that happen. It's kind of... I don't really understand why that happens sometimes. It's like the RNG, the unspoken RNG of Hobbit speedrunning. I don't get why he's falling. This never happened before, I swear. This usually doesn't happen. I don't know, whatever the funny joke to say there is. I get his toes, like, right up in there, and then he falls. He falls. Because I haven't practiced in 3 weeks, basically. I haven't practiced this in 3 weeks for sure. That didn't feel right anyways, so that's understandable that that wouldn't work. That felt good, and it was good. Okay. We've done it. Real run. Oh my god, real run. How fucking far behind am I now? 43 seconds. It could be worse, probably. It probably literally could be worse, by maths standards. I think most mathematicians would say that 43 is not the highest number, although we're still counting. One day we'll figure it out. We'll all come to the conclusion on what the biggest number is, but until then, it might be 43. I don't think it's been disproven yet. Dude, I've got the good graphic settings to know where the ledge is. I did fiddle with my graphic settings a little bit prior to what was supposed to be the races. Oh, oops, wait. Yeah, I press Q. I press Q now because I changed my arrow key to Q to rotate so that I can do the strat that I'm not very good at in Cloud's Burst. Get ready for that. Get ready for me to die instantly to that. I'm excited for it. I can't wait, honestly. I think that's all I have to say about Elden Ring. Other than, like, well, I know that I haven't been very good about not spoiling the game throughout this discussion, but I do recommend that anybody and everybody play Elden Ring, because despite what some people say about it being too difficult, I personally think that it is... I don't know. I'm torn between saying it's the easiest, but it's certainly one of the easiest FromSoft games. So don't let people get you down. Don't let people think that this is gonna be the world's most brutal endeavor in your life just to beat a video game. I mean, it's hard at moments, but I certainly don't think that it is unreasonably hard outside of, like, literally one boss. I think one boss is tricky, but it's optional, and that's another thing that I should mention, is that, like, all of the game's hardest content is completely optional. So, I mean, like, you know, obviously I think most people in an open world game want to see all of the cool, interesting content that open world has, but if you know, if you get frustrated, or if you just are interested in beating the game, I don't think that anything is super difficult along the main quest line. You should still do optional stuff, because obviously you'll get good rewards, and beyond that you'll get runes, which let you level up, and it's very easy to over level too, especially with equipment. Like, it's not working. It's not working for us, Bilbo. I don't know what to tell you. I'm doing this the way that I've always done it, and you know what? I'm just gonna blame this. This is a GPU-specific issue. This would never happen if I was on my old graphics card. What's going on here, Bilbo? Why aren't you slipping? Why aren't you slipping, Bilbo? What am I doing? I guess I was looking too far to the left. Okay, whatever. I'll just jump it. I'll just be a little baby and jump it for once. Go, Bilbo. Come on. We've wasted enough time here already. Thank you. Okay. Very skilled gamer. One of the best Hobbit gamers, they've been telling me. Alright. I kind of forget where the lineup for this is, although I'm just like a flawless gamer, so I'll get it first try anyways. Easy. Never has it ever been difficult. It just keeps getting easier. And that's what I have to say about Elden Ring. I really do think that once I got out of Limgrave, it just felt like I had already made the mistake of over-leveling, and I never recovered from that feeling. It's just everything always felt like it was dying way too easily. I mean, Rennala being the next big boss is obviously a bit of a joke, just because it's Rennala. I mean, sorry if you're having trouble with Rennala, but I don't know. You just hit her. If you just hit Rennala, she fades out of existence and dies. And the first phase of the Rennala fight, too, is such a joke. I mean, it's not a particularly good boss fight, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I support Rennala or anything about her, really, but I also wouldn't really say she's difficult, despite Dunkey including a screenshot of Rennala one-shotting him to what is not shown to be the slowest wind-up for an attack in any boss, probably. When she's charging her Comet Azure, it is a fucking 10-second charge time or something stupid. Like, I don't know. I feel like if you get hit by that, you probably should die, but maybe this is where my opinion differs from the Dunksters. That's what he's called. He actually really loves to be called the Dunkster, I've heard. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Anyways, run. You think we'll finish it? You think this will be a success? You think I'll do it? I'm not very good at Cloud's Burst recently. In fact, I've been getting sniped a lot by these motherfuckers. It's a real bad time for yours truly. Although I'm trying to set my fucking clip warp spot as far back as possible so that the goblins unaggro on me, and it mostly works. Okay, I wanted to wait to get just slightly too far to the right. I might be able to save it, although, wait. This is really good. I think this is how you know this is a true speedrun. For everything that I'm doing right here. This is peak gameplay. Come on, get it, Bilbo. You got this. Thank you. And then you go like that, and then woo! No, dude. Okay, whatever. We'll take the long way. At least I didn't fuck it up in a way that that will end the run. This is good. Very play of the game, very pog. I'm gonna assume, even though I saw that message appear like a minute and a half ago, that was talking about what I just did right there, because it fits and it makes me feel better about how bad that was. Thank you, Cairo. Thank you. I always knew I would have your back in the most trying of times. Alright, so I think you just, like, jump from here, right? There you go. Skilled gamer does it again. How does he keep getting away with it? Finishing a run against all odds. Oh, dude, I got fire rocks, too? 100% run confirmed. Bilbo collected all power-ups on Cloud's Burst. I can't believe you motherfuckers are seriously doing all quests, by the way. It's so funny to me. I mean, like, look. In my eyes, it is a meme category, although I guess it is, like, the closest this game could really have to 100%. I know that it has a real 100%, but the 100% is awful, so all quests is as close as you're going to get without, I don't know, getting a noose ready or something along those lines. So I guess I understand all quests a little bit more than, like, I don't know, crash percent, for example. But it is still funny that that's where the scene is taken over. I get it. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard to PB, and it's hard to especially get anywhere close to the top of the leaderboard. The couple in particular, MK and Shocky, are fairly unapproachable times, but all quests though. All quests. Is that where we're going? I'll be the sole individual who refuses to do all quests because I like shorter runs, and that's, you know, I'm sticking to it. I will never organize an all quest race. If Crix wants that so badly, he can organize it himself. All right, I think I'm done with Hobbit. I actually finished a run, which is surprising everybody around the world. The clap heard around the world. Let's pivot to something. Something. Task list has changed. You know what? No, I don't want to save it, because I think that's talking about the always on top, and setting it to not always on top made my menus weird. So let's not save that change. Okay. Who wants me to spin the wheel? I think the last time I spun the wheel, nobody was here to even see it. Let me spin the wheel. Do I have an overlay for spinning the wheel? I must, right? I must. Surely. Oh, yeah, okay. I found it. Let's spin the wheel to find out whatever the fuck I'm going to be doing. Yes, update my splits. Did I even get a gold there? What splits are being updated? Nobody knows. Maybe I did get a gold and I just never noticed. I don't think I did, though. I was performing at, pretty ass quality there. Okay, let me add, because I don't think I've added it. Yeah, let me add Bloodborne PSX to the list of things that I can roll in my shitty little wheel. Dude, why do I have Among Us on this? What would I do? What would I even fucking do if I rolled Among Us? Probably play with randos is the funniest thing I could think of. I literally just, like, copy-pasted the titles of all of my thumbnails into a list, and that's what I use to decide what I'm going to do, I guess, because that's a good idea. Wheel decide, I think, is what I was using. This looks right. This looks how I remember it to be looking. Do I need to... You know what? I probably need to... Let's go to here first, and you can really see how shitty quality my camera is when it's full screen like this. And then I need to... How do I do this? Studio mode. There you go. And now you can't see what I'm doing, you fuckers. you fucking sons of bitches. You can't see shit. Get owned. Get owned. Okay, I think this is... Oh, I used to... Okay, that's probably a better idea. That's a significantly better idea. I forgot that I opened it in Firefox last time. Because I'm super paranoid about, you know, anything. But I'm super paranoid about any of my Google search results popping up, especially. Okay, wheel decide. Yes. Let me make sure it's cropped correctly. That looks good. That looks perfect. Let me just paste my list in here. There you go. Add choices. Oh, it's beautiful. Apply wheel changes. Okay. Why does it look so ugly, though? I don't remember it looking this ugly last time. Okay, get ready for the smoothest transition you'll ever see on any Twitch stream. Check this out. Check this out. Ooh. Ooh. Pretty cool, right? I got a nice fade and everything. Okay, click to spin. What will I be playing? And I'm giving myself as many mulligans as I want. Do I want to? I don't know. If literally anybody in chat says that this doesn't sound fun, I'm gonna spin it again. Because I don't know if this would be fun. I'm, like, okay at the game. You know what might make it funnier? You know what? Okay, I've decided. To make it more entertaining, I am going to play Friday Night Funkin' on Roblox and have babies challenge me. I think that's the only way I can make it entertaining. So let's go with that. You know, I think I have a keyboard input display for this, don't I? I do. Nice. Okay, let me set that up so that it's not scuffed looking. Where is it? There it is. No, there it is. Okay, I found it. I found it. I'm so good at this streaming thing, it's unreal. Yeah, it looks good enough. Alright, Roblox. You were gonna recommend Isaac? That's not how the wheel works. You don't get to recommend shit. You get to say that either sounds fun or it doesn't sound fun, but in this case, I'm just taking control. I'm making an executive decision that I think this will be funny, so I'm doing it. Oh, am I gonna get, like... I can't remember. No, I don't think that there's any copywritten music in this game. I mean, there probably is if I select certain songs. I don't think so, though. Maybe some, like, Miku songs might be. Okay. I was mainly trying to remember if there was, like, ambient music when you're just, like, idling in the menu. Or not menu, but, like, free walking area. Look, I'm not good at describing Roblox games. Sorry. Okay, we're gonna go with scuffed window for this. Hopefully that's a good enough capture. That's my Bloodborne capture. Please tell me this just works, and I'm not going to have to... Oh, look at that, it just works. Nice. Okay. Is there any, like, safety precautions people do when they stream Roblox? I don't think so. I don't think I need to worry about getting hacked or anything. Oh, the game is cropped also because of Bloodborne. Damn it, that's so annoying. That's gonna be a huge pain in the ass whenever I do go back to Bloodborne. That's fine. Okay, I'll deal with that when I get there. I don't have to deal with it now. So I won't deal with it now. That's my motto, and I'm sticking to it. Alright, that looks vaguely centered. Good enough for me. Okay. Roblox. Let me change my stream settings so that it's oh god. I forgot I put quirky in my stream title. I was cracking myself up so much because I felt like the stream title was missing something, but I didn't know what else to add, so I just put quirky. It's always less funny when I explain it, isn't it? Let's go with... I don't fucking know.